Now we're going to take a look at how to perform revisions and supplements as they come in for each claim. After closing a claim and the insured receives payment, they hire a contractor to perform the work. As that contractor begins to rebuild the lost property, there are times that the contractor may find additional work that will be needed in order to perform the repair or completion of their contract. At this point, the contractor will reach out to you as the desk adjuster and submit additional requests for payment for additional labor or labor and material for work being performed. At this point, you're going to have to learn how to perform a revision and or a supplement. Revisions and supplements are two different things. It may appear to perform the same task, but they're literally two different requests and requirements. A revision is typically required before the work is performed. The contractor looks at the estimate and he sees that there's not an adequate amount of money to start the work or complete the work. So before he begins the work, he sends a request to revise the estimate, stating the differences on what is on site and what has been accounted for on the estimate. At that time, you will perform a revision. A supplement is requested oftentimes after the work has been done, after the additional requirements have been met by the contractor. He has taken the initiative to finish that job at his own risk, and then submitting a supplement request to be able to cover the additional work that he performed in order to complete the task. Some may think, well, why would a contractor perform additional work before he gets the approval? But there are certain activities and tasks in performing a repair that time is of the essence. There's no time to wait for approvals. There's no time to wait for the go-ahead. It just has to be done. And it has to be done in a timely manner. So this is the reason why oftentimes supplements are put in after the fact. So we as desk adjusters need to learn how to adjust in those circumstances. Henceforth, the name desk adjuster. So in this lesson, we're going to learn how to make these changes in Xactimate. You first have to go to Exact Analysis and locate the claim. Once you get into Exact Analysis, there's going to be a drop-down box where it says Select an Action. You're going to go ahead and select that drop-down box. And once you select that drop-down box, it's going to open up. There's going to be a number of options there, but one option that you're going to be looking for, which is not revealed here in this video, is where it says Collaborate. You want to select Collaborate, and then you want to hit Go, and then you want to select Go. And this will collaborate the claim, give you an opportunity to go into the claim once you've located it in Xactimate and be able to collaborate it. In the Xactimate search for claims, you want to look for the claim that says Collaborated with your name on it. Once you have located a claim, you want to mark the claim in progress. Then you want to go over to the estimate. Go to the estimate items, which will pull up the previous claim that the adjuster written. And in the left corner, you will see the grouping tree. And what you want to do, you want to select the last folder, right click, and click on New. You want to go ahead and label this Supplement, or if this is a revision, you want to label it Revision. You want to go ahead and select that folder. And in the line item section, you want to double click the F9 note area. And you want to go ahead and put in this note, I like to start it off with a couple asterisks. And then I'll put supplement or revision performed by me, the adjuster, and I'll put the date that I performed the revision. And I will follow it with a couple more asterisks. This is called my title. So I created a separate section in the estimate that would hold all the revisions or supplements that I want to do to this claim. and I want to mark it as bold. You're going to see here it doesn't look so much, it doesn't really look bolded, but I will end up doing this again a second time just to make sure that it shows up as bold on my estimate. Now I want to go and look for the additional line items. Now, when you're doing supplemental or revision, let's say the original estimate provided for 13 linear feet of baseboard, and the contract is asking for 24. So instead of me going back and deleting or editing the previous entry, I'm just going to look for that entry and I'm going to add or subtract. Well, no, don't want to subtract. Never get in the habit of subtracting from previous estimates. But I'm going to go ahead and add the additional linear foot that's lacking. So if it was 13 and I need 24, I'm going to go back and I'm going to add 11 more linear feet of baseboard, which is the balance that's requested. That's how you want to do your estimates, your revisions, or your supplements. So now I'm going to look for line items that I want to add to my supplement. I'm going to go ahead and go into the search bar and look for my line items and just simply add them to the estimate. Whatever that line item may be, wherever it may be, whether it's on the interior or the exterior, I'm just going to add all my additional line items under this one folder. Once I've added all the line items, I'm going to highlight those line items. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to line item detail and I'm going to mark them as bold. That way all the supplements come up as bold. Now this didn't show up as bold, but I'm going to go ahead and right click. Try that again. Right click, line item detail, and highlight it as bold. Therefore all my supplemental items will come up as bold and it will stand out on the estimate as additional line items that are added, whether there are supplements or whether there are revisions. The only difference is in the title that you place it as. So I want to go to my reports, documents, and then to my reports. Now, I want to preview just to make sure that my changes were applied correctly. One thing I like to do is go ahead and uncheck my photos when I do a preview, because if I leave this checked, it'll take a long time to give me the preview that I'm looking for. So I just uncheck it. Then I hit preview, and I'm able to look at my estimate. I'm going to scroll down and just review all my changes. And you're going to see as I go through the estimate, once I get to the area of my supplement, you're going to see that it stands out and it's different from the rest of the estimates. And therefore, all the changes that I wanted to implement for my revision or supplement is right here and it's highlighted on the report. And it has me as the adjuster and when I performed the supplement. So this is what we're looking for. In performing supplements, you want it to come out and look just like this. Make sure you always put it in preview to make sure that the changes that you applied are accurate. In some cases, you may have to go back to the claims information page and make sure that you select the button that says show previous payments. If it's a supplement, you want to make sure that's checked. So you want to go ahead and complete the claim. Sometimes when you go back and inspect the claim, you might find an error that wants you to go back. See, in this line item, I didn't put the quantity. So I will go ahead and change the quantity, and then I'll go ahead and complete the claim. And that's how you perform supplements and revisions on claims.